everyone, I'm the Peculiar Pisces and welcome to my channel. Today is Wednesday, July 29th, 2026, and this is Flosstube video number 94. I'm back. It's only been a week since I last filmed, which is great. So I had a finish this week. So I was like, I really need to film to show everything. But before I get into my regular stuff, let me start with the stuff that I got from the thrift store. I did say last week that I was going to go to a thrift store for crafting supplies, and I was hoping to be able to find some Teresa Wenslers there, and I did. I did. Oh, I'm so excited. So I found the 4 seasonal carousel horses. So I have all 4, winter, spring, summer, and fall. The winter one is the only one that has been, like, when I open it, I see someone used a highlighter. And so someone had at least started it. But now it's mine. I have the 4 carousel season horses. So I'm really excited about that. And I only got them for $1 each. So go me. And then also at the same thrift store, I found a kit of Thomas Kincaid. And this isn't one of the ones. So back in the late 90s, the only Thomas Kincaids that you could find it was a printed piece on Aida fabric that you just put occasional crosses or half crosses or French knots on and you embellished it. This is a full kit with a blank piece of Aida. So I'm really excited that I have a Thomas Kincaid kit. And then also there, they had a section that was marked in free because they just hadn't sold. And I found a unicorn cross-stitch book. I mean, some of them are kind of meh, but it's got 2 stocking designs. And I have a young daughter who just loves unicorns, and she would absolutely love a unicorn stocking. So I'll maybe get to that. And then at the regular thrift store that I go to, that I have usually been successful in finding Teresa Wenslers, I was not successful this time, but I found a Care Bears letter cross stitch, and I found a blackwork book. So those were nice finds. Okay, so now to really kick into it, I'm going to start with project number 1. And project number 1 is Lavender and Lace. It is called Lady of the Thread. And I did a color conversion on her dress, changing it from green to purple. Okay, so I can give you the color conversions. I used 211, 210, 209, 208, and 3837. So those are the purple colors that I used for this color conversion. And I'm telling you all this because this is my finish. This is my second finish of 2026. The only thing that I have to do is put my signature on here, and I'm probably going to do it right under here. So I just have to do that, but she is finished and she is fully backstitched. Not that there was a lot of backstitching. There was like a piece here, some pieces here, some pieces in here. So me try. It's like there's some back stitching, there's some back stitching, there's some back stitching, and then going this way. There's a little, there's a little, there's a little, there's some, and that. And then she is backstitched. Like around her face, her hands, her sleeves. She's done. She's done. Oh my goodness. Here's the back. It actually looks pretty good. Not gonna lie, considering I carried the thread more on this than I usually do. But yeah, she's done. So, for her, I started her April 25th, 2024, and I finished her July 25th, 2026. I put in 108 hours, 9 minutes, and 48 seconds into it. So, yay! I got a finish, second finish of 2026. Okay, and then project 2. Project 2 is, oh, before I move on to project 2, I have already chosen the lavender and lace that I'm going to move on to from here. So I was recharting one, but because I want to change her dress. And so if I'm changing the colors on her dress, it's so much easier to have an electronic copy. So I was recharting it. The problem is, floss cross, you can't chart beads. And okay, so I need a different program that I can use beads. Also has like metallics. You know, if it's something that I have to pay a subscription for, I'm willing to pay a subscription for. So if anybody knows of any charting software that does beads, does metallics, can handle 1/2 and 3/4 stitches, I can also do the back stitching in, you know, that kind of thing, that would be great. Let me know in the comments, and I will look into the programs that you all suggest. But anyway, because I'm changing the dress on it and I'm kind of at a standstill, and all the progress that I've made so far, I'm going to have to redo anyway. I can't do that lavender and lace. It's not ready. So I went through my charts and I looked at what ones I absolutely love as they are and I'm not going to do any changes to. And I settled on Lady Claire. So this will be the next lavender and lace that I work on. She has Krynic and one set of beads. So she does have some beads. She does have some Krynic. She's got regular floss. I'm not making any changes, and she's pretty much full coverage from here. You know, it's just these edges are a little different. So I'm not going to get a sparkly fabric. No, none of the sparkly fabrics for me for this one, because it's full coverage, and doing it full coverage, there's no need to do it on the opalescent fabric. So no sparkly fabric. I have a DMC Charles Craft 28 count Monaco. It is currently white. I will dye this. I think I want to dye this like a deep turquoise color. I think that the greens of the picture will stand out against the turquoise, and because it's a swan, I'm assuming at a water's edge, I want the fabric to be the deep turquoise color of the water that I imagine it is. So I will be looking at Rit's website, trying to figure out what kind of turquoisey kind of color that I want, and then I will be dyeing this fabric. Let me know if you want me to do a come dye with me video again, or what we want to do. Okay, so I have probably about 3-ish months to dye the fabric and start collecting at least the floss. I don't need the beads until the very end. I don't even know where the beads are looking at the picture. Probably in her hair and her bouquet. So that is my plan. When this rotation comes up again before the end of the year, I will be starting a new lavender and lace. Okay, now on to project number 2. So this is the Dutch Beauty Sampler. I am back to the side and I'm in the middle row. This is page H that I'm on. So here's my progress. The last time you saw it, I had been doing some of the work in this little house and some of the work on this greenery. It's not done to the edge of the page, but I don't want to move my hoop. So I do still have a little bit of greenery down here to finish before the page is ended. But I finished all the stitching in this little house, and I finished these 2 dogs where this one is pooping on this house. Yeah, the dog is pooping on the house. It even says it in the description. It does. And I started the edge of whatever this is. I think it's a giant rabbit. And then I came down and I've been working on the flowers. And this flower right here, by far, has been my favorite to stitch. I think it's a bleeding heart. If it's not a bleeding heart, it's a fuchsia. But this has been my favorite flower to stitch. So yeah, progress, progress, progress. So project 2 for the week of 7/20 through 7/26, I only worked on it Monday the 20th, which when I filmed last week, I talked about it. And so for this week, the week of 7/27 through 8/2, I got to work on it on the 27th, and I put in 6 hours, 58 minutes, and 37 seconds, and it brought my total time to 130 hours, 33 minutes, and 2 seconds. When I worked on this, I put in 1,283 stitches, and I'm now sitting at 25,125 total stitches on the project. So, yeah. The whole thing, I'm in the middle row. Okay. And then project 3 is Chatelaine's Misty Morning Vineyard. And here's my progress. I sort of have some parked threads going on, but here's my progress. Just been working down, trying to fill in this first box. And so this one, so last week, when I filmed on the 22nd, I hadn't worked on this, and so I worked on this on the 23rd, and I got to put in 1 hour, 23 minutes, and 46 seconds, and it brought my total time to 49 hours, 45 minutes, and 56 seconds. And so far this week, I have not gotten to work on it. And then project 4 is the Plaid Bucilla kit, 4 seasons, and I am in the summer quadrant. Here's my progress. From the last time you saw it, I've just been sort of, I came across and bringing things down. So like I filled in some stuff up here, I worked on things down here, and I got it all the way down here and coming over. And so I'm gonna like fill in the stuff that's over here and bring it down, and then continue filling in the things in the middle. So this one, I don't know why I put that away. So this one, so last week I filmed, or I worked on this the day before I filmed, so you did get to see it last week. And then this week I got to put in 1 hour, 18 minutes, and 1 second, and it's taken my total time to 45 hours, 29 minutes, and 46 seconds. Okay. And then last week was the 24th, or the 24th was last week. And so I've been doing a birthday start that I started on my birthday back in February. And every day on the day I was born in the following month, I've been working on it. So I have been working on, and I've been doing this by color completion. I have been working on, this is from Heaven and Earth Designs. This was the Valentines 2024 freebie, and it's called Venus. And so, like I said, I've been working on it by color completion. So here is where I've gotten to. And I believe I only have 1 or 2 more columns before I hit the edge of the piece. And then once I have all my edgings, I can try to readjust this to try to get more of the picture properly balanced inside the very large Q-snap. So yeah, so for this one, I got to put in 3 hours, 31 minutes, and 45 seconds. I put in 710 stitches. It's brought my total stitch count to 4,438 out of 154,000. I am at 2.88%, and I have 4,448 stitches left of this color before it's done. So, yay, I'm making progress. So we won't see that again until next month. Now, before I move on to my temperature projects, let me show you what my 4 projects I will be moving on to next month, because the kids go back to school next week. So next week I can film, and I can film upstairs, and I'll be working on the new projects for next week. And I don't know when I'm going to get, like, Tuesday-ish, I'll be starting to get back into my old rotation. So some of it will be wheel spin, some of it will be, we'll just play it by ear whenever I do it. But let me show you what I'm moving on to. So for project 1, I will be going to Teresa Wensler's Woodland Fairy. And I almost have a page finish for this one. Almost. So here's where I'm starting out. Like I said, I almost have a page finish. And there's 6 total pages, so it'll be 1 out of 6 done. Okay. And then project 2, I will be starting a brand new black work because I finished my black work last month. So I will be moving on to the 2023 Botanical Stitch Along from the Steady Thread. This is the overall design that I've decided on. This is the fabric that I dyed for it. I'm probably going to stitch it like this. And I'll just drop my needle. That's weird. I think I just dropped my needle on the floor. Okay, so 895 and 3346 are the 2 greens that I will be doing for the leaves. The darker 895 is going to be for the leaves around the honeycomb. The 3346, the lighter green, is going to be the leaves in the individual hexagons. So all the hexagons, the honeycombs, are going to be in 310 black. And then the 2 colors that I have chosen for inside the hexagons for the flowers are 3812, a nice turquoise color, and 33 purple. So turquoise and purple are going to be the flower colors inside the hexagons. 3346 is going to be the green inside the hexagons. 895 is going to be the dark green around it. And the hexagons or the honeycombs are going to be in black. So that's project 2. I hope I didn't lose my needle. It's not on the needle minder, but I don't know if I put the needle away instead of leaving it on the needle minder. I just don't know. Okay, project 3 that I'll be moving on to is Heaven and Earth Designs Fay Risque with the blue conversion. And here's where I am. I'm up in her hair and hat. And then project 4 is the Dimensions Dolphins Domain Kit. And here's where I'm at. Okay, so that is the 4 projects that I will be moving on to in August. And August starts back to school. So I will be going back to my regular schedule on stitching. And then, okay, so now it is the temperature projects. So, okay, not really sure what happened, but it stopped recording right as I was getting ready to do the temperature projects. So let me just film that and then splice these 2 videos together. So for my temperature projects, I have 10 projects that I have labeled 0 through 9. And each day I look at what the daily temperature is supposed to be, and I look at the high, and then I take a screenshot, and that is whatever the second digit is, coincides with whatever project I'm going to work on. And I usually spend about 30 minutes on each project. So I do a combination of like a daily 30 and the temperature projects. So 0 is the Doctor Who diamond painting. 1 is the pansy crochet blanket. 2 is the purple landscape printed cross stitch. 3 is a Smurfette corner to corner. 4 is French beaded flowers. 5 is monk's cloth Swedish weaving or huck weaving. 6 is butterfly printed cross stitch. 7 is a purple baby blanket. 8 is a peacock printed cross stitch, and 9 is a granny square crochet blanket. So those are the 10 projects. I think one of the kids is awake because I hear noises upstairs. So we'll see if she appears. Okay, so starting last week, 7/23, it was 83 degrees, which is the 3 is the Smurfette corner to corner crochet. So this is my pattern that I self-drafted this in Stitch Fiddle and then printed out the pages and then taped them all together. So this is my pattern. Down here is where I am. I have a long way to go. And I might have to stop opening my pattern so much because it's paper. So I was able to get a new row completed. On the cross stitch, or I mean on the corner to corner. So it's very difficult to show the whole thing in one piece. When it's done, it'll look great. But this is Smurfette's shadow. Actually, I think it goes this way. Yeah, I think it goes this way. So this is starting the shadow of Smurfette. Haven't quite gotten to her yet. I'm getting there. I've gotten to work on it now twice. So that's some progress. Okay, and then on 7/24 and 7/27, it was 89 degrees, which is the granny square crochet. This is the book that I'm working out of, Patchwork Afghans Through the Year, and this is book 2, and this is copyright 2001. And this is the piece that I'm working on. And I'm actually down in like this area stitching the stars together. Like I'm stitching the things together and then stitching it to the bigger part of the blanket. And so the 2 days that I got to work on this, I stitched together. Okay, hold on. Which way does it go? It goes this way. I stitched together this part, and I have one more row of purple. So I need two more purple squares, and then stitch them together, and then stitch this together to complete this block, and then I can stitch that to the bigger blanket. So that is where I am. And then on 7/28, it was 86 degrees, which is the butterfly printed cross stitch. Where is that one? Here it is. Here it is. So here's what it will look like when it is finished. Maybe. Hopefully. We'll see. And here is where I am. So what I did is when I started, I had black thread on my needle. I finished off the black thread. Then I came down here and stitched a blue color. And when it was finished over here, I brought it over here and stitched it. And then I went back and stitched in another full thread of black. So currently I have nothing on my needle. When I come back, I will be starting with a black thread. So I'll do black, blue, black. Usually I get about three threads. So here it is. Here it is from the back. Yeah, so coming along too. All of my projects are coming along. So that's my update. That's my update. That's what I'm moving on to for the next month. So yeah, I can't wait to film next week because I will be back upstairs at the computer desk with better lighting. And yeah, so the kids go back to school. Everything's going back to normal. Yay. Yay. All right. So I should see everyone next week. Bye for now.